Odyssey NFL insider Armando Salguero. You, of course, have been reading him for many years here in the Miami Herald, covering the Miami Dolphins. Good morning, Armando.
It's draft day, gentlemen.
It is.
Yes.
It is a holiday. What do you do on draft day, Armando? Do you have any rituals? Anything that you have to do on draft day every single year?
It involves a lot of eating. It involves that is my number one priority throughout the day. And then eventually the Dolphins draft somebody and I write about it. So those are my priorities. Number one, eating. Number two, writing about the Dolphins draft.
Now, have you ever eaten a chicken wing in a car?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
what is that like?
Anyone not eaten a chicken wing in a car?
They've been getting on me all morning because I said chicken wing is the easiest food to eat in a car.
It's not the easiest. It's an inefficient food.
It's not the easiest because now your steering wheel is full of grease. But, I mean, if you're looking at easy as in the actual activity, yeah, but the mess that it leaves behind is tremendous.
Agreed. That's all I've been saying is that I don't want to have a meal in my car that's going to have evidence and leftovers as it once I'm done with it. And Leroy is sitting here be like, he feels like he not only eats it, but he's leaving a clean murder scene behind. Like there's not grease, there's not bones. And that's just impossible, Armando. It's not possible to consume chicken wings while eating and also not leaving a mess.
Well, there is one way to do it, and that is a buffalo chicken sandwich. And in which case you have the taste of a chicken wing, but it's a sandwich and the bread doesn't get all that grease on you.
See, he's ready for the draft.
He's ready.
He's ready for the draft because he's adjusting. He's adjusting. Now, Armando, here's the question that I have, and a lot of people have asked me, and some people care. Tobin doesn't care, but a lot of people care. Do you think the majority of NFL scouts think that Devontae Smith's 166 pounds matters?
Yes, it matters. But the follow-up question is, do I think a majority of NFL scouts, given the choice of drafting the guy for their team or not, would say no? No way. That guy's a baller. He's just – it's up to your offensive coordinator to figure out how to get him in space, how to move him, how to keep him from getting killed. And a proficient offensive coordinator is going to be able to do that somewhat fairly easily. A guy that is stuck in his scheme and we must put him on the line and it must not ever be movement and he must beat people off of press. Well, that guy's not going to be long for the NFL and is going to get Devontae Smith hurt.
Armando, where do you weigh in on what the Dolphins should do here to best suit Tua? Is it go get him a premium weapon, or should they go, if they have the opportunity to get a guy like Penei Sewell and drops him at 6, do they get him more protection? Like after watching last year, what do you think is more important for him to have being in this prime a spot for them?
So, look, we were all here for the drafting of Jake Long, right? And he was the number 1 overall pick. He was the best offensive tackle that the Dolphins had since Richmond Webb. And, he went to the Pro Bowl 3 consecutive years, his first 3 years. He was basically writing himself a Hall of Fame career had he remained healthy. He didn't remain healthy, but had he, that's the direction he was going. And having said all that, at the height of Jake Long, he led the Dolphins to exactly 0 victories. And what I'm saying to you is the guy doesn't score touchdowns. He doesn't change the direction of games. Look, he helps, of course. It's an important piece. Yes, no doubt. It's a premium piece. But the direction of games don't get decided one way or the other, typically by a left tackle. And that's my feeling on Penei Sewell. He's probably the safer pick if he's available, and it's him or Devontae Smith, because Kyle Pitts has gone to Atlanta and Jamar Chase has gone to Cincinnati, if that's the way that it plays out. But he will never lead the Miami Dolphins or any team to a victory, to a championship, to a playoff win, to anything like that. He's a featured player, not the star player.
So Armando, what did you make of the Dolphins making the moves that they did to set up for this draft day? Like, they were there at 3, and then, obviously they made the 2 trades to put them where they are. Did you like the move initially when it all went down? Because it was obviously a crazy afternoon where they're 12 for a few minutes and then they're back up to 6. Like, do you think Chris Grier has set himself up in this position to be in a good spot to get who he wants, but also was able to pick up a pick?
Yeah. So anything that happens today, at the end of the day, the Dolphins, Chris Grier, Brian Flores will tell you, this is the guy that we wanted all along, right? We agreed on that?
Of course.
Yes.
There won't be oh, my God, we really messed up. We could have had Kyle Pitts and we don't have him. We're not going to hear that from Chris Grier. So let's just put that there. The trade initially felt good because, my God, they got 2 first-round picks in return. But when you look at it more closely, that trade basically weakened the Dolphins this year. They went from number 3 overall eventually to number 6, and this year they got nothing back. So for right now, that trade hurts. And because you got nothing back, you're looking at missing out on Kyle Pitts, who is, everybody calls him a unicorn. He really is unique. He really is, a weapon that good offensive coordinators will turn into a nightmare for defenses. And in return, what do the Dolphins have to show for it? I asked Chris Grier about that, and he said, well, we're not weakened. That's just a difference of opinion. Well, no, it's not a difference of opinion. That's a fact. You went from 3 to 6 and did not improve any other pick in 2021. Now, they got a first-round pick in 2023, but as Jimmy Johnson taught everybody, picks next year mean 1 round lower, and picks 2 years from now are 2 rounds lower. So by Jimmy Johnson's way of viewing it, they got a 3rd-round pick for the whole thing. In 2023, Chris Grier or whoever else is the general manager of the Miami Dolphins is going to love having 2 first-round picks. But how does that help the Dolphins in 2021? Because this year the team is 3 years into this administration, hasn't made the playoffs. They need to make the playoffs this year. People are going, that was great last year, very nice, improvement, but you got to take a next step, and the next step this year is making the playoffs, and that trade didn't help the team do that.
Armando, I have a rebuttal to that, and here's why. 2 weeks ago, or was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, when they made this trade, nobody thought that Atlanta and Cincinnati were going to take wide receiver and tight end. Maybe one of them. And so at the time, getting back to 6, the Dolphins were probably thinking, okay, we can end up with either Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase. Now, after the fact, it looks like, well, Atlanta might take Kyle Pitts and Cincinnati might take Jamar Chase. Both, I feel, would be terrible selections for the both of them, because just like you talked about 3 years down the line or 2 years down the line, what that pick would be, I think Atlanta playing the quarterback game when there's quarterbacks available now is also a dangerous game. But now that they're in, after the fact that they're in 6, it doesn't look as good as it did 2 weeks ago when they thought that they would probably be the first or second pick of a non-quarterback.
So everything you said, Leroy, is absolutely 100% true. But here's the problem with it.
Right.
It's the job of the people making that trade beforehand to play out every scenario. And it wouldn't have been too hard to say, you know what, if we go from 3 to 6 eventually, we got 3 or 4 guys. They had 4 guys on their list of guys that we're comfortable taking, and we could be down to 2. Are we confident that those 2 are just as good as the other 2? Whatever combination of 2, of course not. But that was something that they had to do. And if they didn't play the scenario out to find themselves where they might find themselves at the end of the evening tonight, then someone didn't do their job.
Now, if it all plays out the way everybody thinks it is, which I don't think it will, but why wouldn't you then just trade back and let one of these teams who want a quarterback move up to 6?
That's a possibility. That's still a possibility. But look, the way I think it's going to play out, I think that everybody says Jamar Chase is going to Cincinnati, and that indeed is something that has been discussed in Cincinnati, obviously. And I know that Joe Burrow has talked to ownership about Jamar Chase. Hasn't said draft Jamar Chase, but Jamar Chase is really good. It's an endorsement. But I think they're going to pick Penei Sewell, and I think Chase is going to be available to the Dolphins at number 6, and I think he's going to be the pick. So there's that. But
see, that's what I think.
Chase
that's what
goes to. Yeah, great, awesome. We're good, done. See you guys.
I do realize that my thought process is playing a dangerous game, but I think when you trade back and forth and up and down, or especially back in the draft, that's the game that you're playing, is that now the Dolphins are in a position where they hope that Pitts or Chase is available, when at 3 they wouldn't have had those problems.
In other words, they traded certainty for hope and prayers. I'm not a big fan of trading something that I know is going to happen versus something that I hope is going to happen. I think no is better than hope.
Armando, is there anything that you have heard in this crazy season of lies and smoke screens and all that stuff that you have heard tied to the Dolphins that is absolutely not true, that you have that maybe you've seen fans go crazy about on Twitter, that's not going to happen, that you could throw out?
Well, not quite 100%, but how about 75%? Would a 75% certainty be okay with you?
Of course.
So the idea that Jalen Waddle would be the guy over Chase or Smith, that's out there, and that the Dolphins would pick Jalen Waddle at number 6 if Chase or Smith are on the board. And while Waddle is a good player and has elite speed and is a great return guy and all that, I think folks forget he's somewhat undersized. He's not quite 5'10". His hands are okay, not great. And I just have a hard time, and people have been saying, why would the team pick like Alabama's number 2 receiver and the guy that has not been as good as Devontae Smith for a couple of years now, not just 1 year, and hope that he becomes your best receiver. It's just it's hard to fathom. It could happen. Again, remember, there's that 25% idea, but everybody I talk to, they have a hard time figuring that one out.
Armando, thanks for the time this morning, man. Enjoy your food on draft day and, the busy night ahead.
Here's to chicken wings in car.
That's right. Here's the chicken wings.
That was Odyssey NFL insider Armando Salguero. Insider calls are presented by BetQL. BetQL is here to help us make better bets through real, proven analytics. Bet smarter, beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit the betql.com for more information on that today. Thanks again to Armando Salguero for joining the show.